Regardless if you are a student or an instructor, I'm sure you are all very familiar with this scenario. Every single time there is an upcoming deadline, students frantically email their instructors and beg for extensions, even if they were well aware of the assignment in advance. This begs the question, why does this happen? Although there are many different answers to this question, the more common one is that students simply did not start studying early enough and ran out of time to complete the assignment before the deadline. This is called procrastination. So procrastination is the act of putting off a task until last minute or until it's past the deadline. For example, let's look at Mary's situation. She was well aware that she had an approaching assignment deadline, but she thought that she had plenty of time before she actually had to start it. She would put off starting the assignment every single day until eventually she missed the deadline. You might be thinking that this is a rare situation that only irresponsible students might end up in. But actually, this is a very common situation. Anywhere from 80 to 95% of students are found by research to procrastinate to some degree. So to understand why so many students struggle with this, let's take a look at some of the common precursors to procrastination. So there are two main hormones that I will be discussing today. First is dopamine, which is our pleasure and motivation hormone. Next is cortisol, which is our stress hormone. Both of these hormones play a pretty large role in something called the pleasure principle. The pleasure principle is a person's tendency to seek out pleasurable experiences, such as the release of dopamine, and avoid pain, such as the release of cortisol. So when you are scrolling through your phone or watching your favorite TV show, your brain is releasing a steady stream of dopamine, causing you to get pleasure and seek out that behavior even more. In contrast, when you are studying, your brain releases cortisol, causing you to avoid that behavior. So as a result, when Mary is avoiding studying, it's because she's avoiding the cortisol spike associated with it. And she's instead seeking the pleasure she gets from being on her phone. So another cause of procrastination is just the inability to decide what you should actually do. What if you have both a biology and a chemistry midterm that are both coming up and you just don't know what to start with? This is a common precursor to something called decision paralysis. Decision paralysis is when you are so torn apart between two choices that you end up not doing either and just do nothing instead. Lastly, failing to allocate enough study time during your day can also lead to procrastination. Just like most university students, Mary's daily schedule is filled with classes, meetings, and extracurriculars. It is only natural that at the end of the day, she feels tired and does not want to start her assignment. But this can eventually lead to her also running out of time and not having time to complete it before the deadline. This is an example of poor time management. Mary had lots of slots between her classes that she could have dedicated to working on her assignment, but instead, she procrastinated. So given that procrastination is caused by decision paralysis, the pleasure principle, and failure to plan, what can you do to prevent procrastination? One solution that requires virtually no skill is to use generative artificial intelligence for academic planning. Based on information found online, ChatGPT can estimate how long a certain task will take you, and using that estimate, as well as the due date that you can provide, it can create a prioritized list of assignments. This will ensure you don't experience decision paralysis and can get straight to work when you have time. Additionally, using this prioritized list and the daily schedule that you provide, ChatGPT can create an hour-by-hour study plan for you that you can follow. Additionally, this is beneficial because it breaks down the big tasks into smaller tasks. And every time you complete one of those small tasks, your brain releases dopamine, similar to how you feel when you scroll on social media. This makes you actually get some pleasure from studying. There's definitely some controversy surrounding students using generative AI such as ChatGPT, specifically with the concern that students will use it to cheat. However, assuming that students plagiarize because they procrastinated and ran out of time, providing them with such academic tools that prevent procrastination could actually potentially minimize plagiarism because they won't need to do it. Although it's unclear if this is actually true or not, this is definitely something that is worth experimenting in the future with.